When people think about power, they think about governments, police, CEOs, the president, very like obvious figures. Some of the most effective ways to use power looks friendly, looks harmless, just like mascots. For decades, corporations understood the best way to avoid scrutiny is to soften, not necessarily hide. Put a smiling face in front of systems that otherwise would raise questions. Most effective use of mascots in this way is Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald was never just a character, just a smiling clown for children to be enamored with. He functioned as a mask, a way to make corporation like McDonald's feel safe so they can gain profit. They want their corporation to feel approachable, trustworthy, and like I already said, safe. Communities that have long history in being exploited or abandoned by institutions, the way to get those communities to trust them. If you have a great mascot for your company, it just makes people feel like, oh, like this is so cute. This is a nice thing. Oh my God, like let's check it out. Like, what is this? Ronald McDonald? Oh, wow, McDonald's? Let's check it out. Not just for communities like that, but for people in general, but especially for those communities. McDonald's rose to prominence during a time when there was enormous social tension in the United States. The civil rights movement exposed deep racial inequalities. Urban neighborhoods, black neighborhoods were systematically being disinvested. Housing policy through redlining and just exclusion economically. And the trust in the government was eroding. Not just the government, but corporations. But yet, McDonald's continued to expand. Mascots exist because they work. They replace faceless corporations with a friendly face. A good personality. Instead of thinking about labor practices, wage suppression, zoning influence, corporate lobbying, people are encouraged to think about feelings when they look at Ronald McDonald's smiling face. Ronald McDonald symbolizes childhood memories, nostalgia, those little toys that you'll get in your kiddie meals, shit like that. Mascot does not argue. A mascot does not threaten. A mascot smiles and lets you in. Ronald McDonald was introduced at a time when McDonald's need to be embedded into everyday life, not just a place to eat. The company understood something critical. Loyalty is best developed early. Children don't evaluate corporations. They form emotional attachments. A brand becomes your childhood. It no longer needs to justify itself later. So Ronald McDonald was not aimed at adults. It was aimed at children. And those children brought in families. Birthday parties, school visits, play places, appearances at hospitals and community events. Ronald was not selling burgers directly. He was selling familiarity, routine, and normalcy in many working class, including the black community. Institutions had failed to provide stability. Ronald McDonald made sure to clutch up and to provide that. Sure that it's something that looks consistent, not something that's going to just up and leave. While Ronald McDonald showed up smiling, behind that face is corporations who are thinking, business minded, thinking about low wages, high turnover. They're thinking very much strict economic logic. Minimum worker advances. Franchise systems favored those with existing capital. Mascots softened these realities, mattered in marginalized communities, in neighborhoods shaped by segregation and disinvestment. Trust is not easily given. Banks closed branches, grocery stores moved away, hospitals are being underfunded, public infrastructure decayed, while McDonald's stayed with their bright lights, predictable menu options, predictable costs, familiar branding, and always that smiling clown. Ronald McDonald helped position the corporation as something as part of the neighborhood. Being present is not the same as being invested. McDonald's extracted profit from these neighborhoods and offered emotional comfort in return. The relationship was asymmetrical, but the mascot made sure to obscure that imbalance. Reporters often point to Ronald McDonald's house charities as evidence that the corporation genuinely cares. True that these charities helped and provide families with seriously ill children. That help matters, but acknowledging does not erase the contradiction. At the same time McDonald's promoted charity, it fought wage increases. It resisted unionization. It maintained labor practices that had black workers at a disadvantage, and also low income workers. Charity became insulation, a way to point to visible good while also deflecting attention from systematic harm. This is often how corporate power operates, not through overt cruelty, but through selective generosity, not through denial, but through distraction. McDonald's did eventually succeed and obviously be embedded in daily life. That's why people reflect on McDonald's as nostalgia, childhood memories, McDonald's parties, stuff like that. The mask only works if people do not look too closely. No, Ronald McDonald does not hold the same level of nostalgia or just romanticism with people, because people are starting to find out, oh, McDonald's burgers are really weird. I put this McDonald's burger in my closet for a year and it still looks the same. Shit comes out about McDonald's, burgers, and how it's just weird. It's very odd. And even more stuff on the internet if you just want to do some simple research and see what the fuck is up with McDonald's. The friendly mask stopped working the way it used to, but of course McDonald's still, makes its bread. Obviously little things like that with, the food is, clearly not expiring and going bad. It's just staying the same. Eventually fades from people's minds, and these corporations go back to making their manyan. So, yeah. I already showed you those racist ass commercials. Clearly, this is how they see black people. It's these stereotypes. Watch my last video if you want to know what I'm talking about. But modern corporate racism does not have to be overt. It can just be simply structural racism. Make you feel like, oh, this is normalized. When they put these black people on the screen, they're these stereotypes. Oh, okay, this is normalized. They look happy. Yeah, repetition. Oh, okay, this is normalized. Clearly, and they're showing how they think of black people, but no one really thinks about that. They're just oh, yeah, this is normalized. Okay. And they didn't even put black commercials in the white areas, only in black specific areas, because they didn't want their white customers to see that shit. So it's just very interesting. The systems already have failed people, including black people. Friendly mask softened the presence of a corporation that is benefiting from the black community's downfall. Redlining, segregation, things like that, where they have food deserts, where grocery stores are just not around, miles away, hospitals being underfunded, all these different things. They slide right in, including other fast food companies slide right in and say, okay guys, come eat here. Yes, I know that there's food deserts here, so I'm gonna clearly benefit off of your situation, and not try to, I don't know, you're a big corporation making your money, you don't try to do anything for the black community or for these communities that are being underfunded. Of course you're not, because it's just a fast food restaurant. Why would they do something like that? Yeah, exactly. And that is also very normalized. When you think about Ronald McDonald, think about that's what structural power looks like when it doesn't want to be seen. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to learn more about McDonald's racist ads, basically just stereotyping black people, it's just so fucking obvious. I don't know how people didn't peep this before. It is in this video from 4 months ago with this thumbnail. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one.